What's up, YouTube? This is Metropolitan Stills, and in this video, I'm going to teach you some of the lessons I learned while trying to get good photographs in Kyoto, Japan. You're headed to Kyoto, Japan. So you go to Google image search to get some photography inspiration. The most famous image from Kyoto is probably that of Yasaka Shrine. This 5-story tall tower was originally built in 589, and the current tower was rebuilt in 1440 after the original was destroyed by Godzilla. I searched online for hours trying to find exactly what street gave me the iconic view of this famous tower, but I couldn't find anything. In fact, that search was the reason why I created this YouTube channel about travel and photography. I waited at this location for almost an hour to let the sun set, and the crowd of people taking photos was nearly constant. Even around 10 p.m. when I finished shooting, there was still a throng of people I had to work around. I used a tripod, an ND filter, and long exposures to get rid of some of the people who were walking through my frame to get these photographs. The next night, I returned to the Gion Old Town district to try to get some photographs of the geisha. This is slightly controversial. Literally 2 months before I arrived, Kyoto had actually banned photography on many of these streets because rude tourists were hassling the geisha. I brought with me an 85mm telephoto lens. That way I could stand further back to try to get some good photographs. I stood right here outside the historic Ichiriki tea house. I got here around 8 p.m. to see the geisha leaving work for the day and walking home. I waited several hours, but I got many opportunities to get great photographs. Unfortunately, instead of great photos, these are the photos I got. One of the other iconic photographs from Kyoto is that of the torii gates leading up to the Fushimi Inari Shrine. I had read online that if you walk far enough up the mountain, you're able to get some photos without the huge crowds. It's about a 3-hour walk all the way up and down the mountain, and I was not super thrilled to do that. But from my personal experience, I found that after about a 45-minute walk, I was able to avoid enough crowds that with some patience and some luck, I was able to get some great photographs without huge amounts of people in it. One of the unexpected joys of this location were the dozens of mini shrines situated along the path, many of which that feature the fox, which is considered a messenger to the deity Inari. One of the other famous tourist locations in Kyoto is that of the Arashiyama Bamboo Forest. This place gets unbelievably crowded, and the advice I read online was just to show up first thing in the morning to beat the crowds. I am not a morning person, so I was definitely not about to wake up first thing in the morning, especially while I was on vacation. So I found online the Arashino Nebutsuji Temple. I'm really sorry about my pronunciation of these places. I think on my next trip I should probably just go to Iowa. While this lesser-known forest is much smaller than the famous site, it also includes a very interesting temple to explore. Not only can you avoid the crowds of this location, but this bamboo forest follows a set of stairs up a slight hill, which makes for a much more interesting photo opportunity, especially if you're taking portraits of yourself or the people you're traveling with. It wasn't possible to get to this location via public transportation, so I had to take a taxi here. One travel hack I use in these situations is that I ask the hotel concierge to write down in Japanese information about where I want to go. Then I just hand that piece of paper to the cab driver. That's always worked much better for me than just handing the driver my phone, which is set to English. On the same day I went to the bamboo forest, I also went to Kinkakuji, the Golden Pavilion. I just came here because it's famous and the photos look pretty nice online. To be perfectly honest, this place was kind of a bust for me. It didn't take long or cost much, but there wasn't much to see here. You can't go inside the pavilion, and there isn't much here besides a Japanese garden and a few attractions for those looking for good fortune. The Zen temple is partially covered in gold, but like many historic sites in Japan, this isn't the original structure. This current building was erected in 1955. I'll wrap up this video by talking about a few other great photography opportunities in Kyoto that are a little less famous. The first one is Pontocho Alley, which is a narrow strip of bars and restaurants that follow the Kamo River just outside of the Old Town. And the last stop on this YouTube tour is actually your first stop when you arrive in Kyoto. This massive train station is a wonder of modern architecture. So when you arrive, make certain to have your camera handy. Thanks for watching. This YouTube channel only has a few videos posted, but I already have a lot of content filmed from Croatia, from Poland, and a few from my hometown here in Chicago. So if you're interested in travel and photography, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I'll end this video with a famous Japanese expression that I learned while I was visiting Kyoto. You're really fat and you have too much body hair. Japan is such a fascinating culture. Well, arigato gozaimasu.